Mainfreight's a global corporation. They're a New Zealand-based company, and they recently acquired Target Logistics Services in the United States. It was their first time they had a footprint established in the United States, and gave them a significant presence in the U.S. market through a strategic acquisition. We basically provide logistics services, import, export, domestic, to a whole host of manufacturing and distribution and supply chain companies. Wouldn't be unusual for us to take raw metal, whether it's sheet metal, whether that's stampings, it could be any form of that, and brought into a facility, a manufacturing facility for engineering, process, design. And then it's very typical for us to then grab that product and then move it to another location where someone else is then going to continue that process, whether that's adding value added, such as electronics, such as additional engineering. And then what we essentially do is continue that movement of those goods and services until it gets to the end consumer. It's very typical for us to then end up with a final product on our truck and go the last mile and bringing it literally from a retail location or distribution location to someone's home or someone's business. It's a real use of all modes, whether that's air, like you mentioned, rail, whether that's truck, ground transportation. There's just a very, very strong reliance on all modes of transportation services at this point. If you went back a few years ago, you could really see a domination of the Chinese markets, both import and export, in our trade lane patterns. And I think over the last few years, there's been a real diversity in from Chinese-based to Asia-Pacific-based. There's been tremendous growth in our markets in Malaysia, in Cambodia, in Vietnam. And that, I think, again, bodes very well for the continued growth for the capital region, is that all our eggs aren't in the one Chinese basket, but it's much more becoming an Asian basket, which is also a very, very good thing. And our trade lane volumes are reflecting that. I think it goes back to when the GBN was known as the World Trade Council. And there were some, I was involved at a young age, and when I was young in my business career, with a group, and Jerry Shea was involved then, and Brenda Kelly was involved then. And I never thought that something like this, an award like this, I always looked up to people who would get these kinds of awards. And so I think it means a great deal in terms of being recognized by my peers, by the local business community, and it's very unexpected, very, very humbling, and certainly it makes me feel very good about getting that kind of recognition. When we started the enterprise, the start of the transportation business here in the capital region, we really didn't have a lot of local connections. We didn't know how to navigate through the different business environments. We weren't really sure who some of the decision makers were. And the GBN, the World Trade Council then, and the GBN now, allows us and a company like ours to have that platform to find out where those resources are located, and to really get into a social environment where I'm getting to meet with, dialogue with, and interact with a whole host of peers at a wide cross-section of consulting, of manufacturing, of government resources, economic development organizations. And I think that really becomes how important and why the GBN is so important for us still to this day. When someone new comes to the area, they're likely to go to a GBN meeting to do that same kind of navigation. It was very important for us starting a business. It's very important for us now as we continue as a mature business in the capital region.